Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending. Welcome to the Halifax Water's 2025 Annual General Meeting that's been held at the Western Operations Depot on Cowie Hill Road. My name's John McPherson. I'm Chair of the Halifax Water Board of Commissioners. And before we start, we'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This meeting is open to the public, and it will be available online through a live webcast and on Halifax Water's YouTube channel, and will also be posted on the YouTube channel subsequent to the meeting. Today's agenda and presentations will also be posted later on the Halifax Water website. To begin with, I have some general information. Following the presentations, there's the opportunity for members of the public to ask questions about and of Halifax Water. Attendees wishing to speak will raise their hand, and the general manager will be at the podium, and she will either answer any questions directly or, if necessary, direct it to the appropriate member of the Halifax Water team, many of whom are here in attendance. And speaking time, depending upon the nature of the questions and number of questions, may be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. As part of this year's annual general meeting, I'd like to acknowledge my fellow board members in attendance, particularly, well, all of them, but the councillors who were in, and perhaps still are, in a meeting of HRM Council but did attend. So there's Commissioner Cuddle, Commissioner Deagle-Gammon, Commissioner McClellan, Commissioner Purdy, and Commissioner Steele. Commissioner O'Toole, who's also, her day job as the CAO of HRM, is not able to attend the meeting today. I'd also like to acknowledge at this point the former Commissioner and Chair of the Halifax Regional Water Board, whose term ended effective March 31st, 2025. If you attended last year's meeting, you would have seen Colleen speak and present as the chair. She joined the Halifax Water Board almost 7 years ago, first as a commissioner and then as chair for the past 2.5 years. And to say that Colleen's time on the board was eventful would be a bit of an understatement. The organization was tested by the challenges of COVID-19 and quickly pivoted to virtual governments to maintain transparency, and indeed continues to use a lot of virtual meetings to move its agenda along. She was a strong supporter of the organization's adaptation of the Get Out the Lead program. More information and detail about that is on the website. And that program includes lead service line replacements costs in Halifax Water's annual budget, and helps expedite the removal of lead pipe to ensure the health and safety of the community. Colleen was also a strong advocate of renewable energy, such as solar energy and the district energy system. That advocacy furthered the organization's commitment to climate sustainability. It's safe to say that during her tenure on the Halifax Water Board, she has helped position the utilities of more forward-thinking and ready to tackle the challenges of the future. On behalf of the board, I'd like to sincerely thank Colleen Rawlings for her contribution over the past 6 years. Joining me here for today's meeting are a number of members of Halifax Water's executive team, and they'll provide an overview of the fiscal 2024-25, both financially and operationally. There's Kendra McKenzie, the GM and CEO of Halifax Water, and I think we're all pleased to say no longer the acting GM and CEO of Halifax Water, following her appointment this year. Leanna Rentol, the General Counsel and Board Secretary, had hoped to be here, but is joining virtually. She was somewhat involved in the preparation of some 1,000 IR responses and while in Cape Breton, and has not been able to get to the meeting today. And finally, Louis de Montburn, the Director of Corporate Services and CFO, is to my right. I'd like to begin the formal part of the meeting by looking at agenda item number 2, the approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. There is a motion on the screen. Would one of the commissioners wish to move that motion and somebody second it? Moved by Kathy Deagle-Gammon, seconded by Commissioner Cuddle. The motion reads that the Halifax Water Board approve the order of business and approve additions and deletions. Could all the commissioners in favor raise their hand or signify by saying aye? Contrary-minded? None. The motion is passed. Item number 3, approval of the minutes of the 2024 Annual General Meeting held on Thursday, July 11th, 2024. And I believe they are posted at this point. The motion is that the Halifax Water Board approve the minutes of July 11th, 2024 Annual General Meeting. Is there a mover for that motion? Commissioner Deagle-Gammon, second again by Commissioner Cuddle. All those in favor say aye or raise their hand. Approved. Those contrary-minded, seeing none, motion approved. And that, for a few final remarks at the end, concludes my efforts today, and I will turn it over to the General Manager for the meat and substance of the meeting, being the reports on the past year.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kenda McKenzie. I'm the General Manager at Halifax Water. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge some other members of our executive team that are joining us here today. We have Ashley Kendall, our Director of People and Culture, Jeff Myrick, our Senior Manager of Communications and Strategy, Josh DeYoung, our Director of Engineering and Infrastructure, and Wendy Krakozik, who is our Director of Environment, Health and Safety. Thank you. So as we look at the purpose of the corporation, we are focused to provide our customers with high-quality water, wastewater, and stormwater services. We place the highest value on public health, customer service, fiscal responsibility, workplace health, safety, and security, asset management, regulatory compliance, and environmental stewardship. We engage our employees through teamwork, innovation, and professional development. When we look at the 4 pillars that form the backbone of our organization, we have people and culture, where we focus on the attraction and retention of high-quality workforce, develop and support an inclusive and respectful workplace, with a commitment to our customer and communities that we live in, promoting ongoing engagement. Under the health, safety, environment, and social responsibility pillar, health and safety of our employees, the public, contractors is a top priority for us. We are committed to the protection of the environment and providing sustainable, reliable services to our customers. Under the financial and regulatory accountability pillar, we're mindful of managing and operating our assets, balancing value and customer service while being fiscally responsible. And finally, under our operational excellence pillar, we are providing reliable, quality service for our customers with safety front of mind, efficiently building and operating and maintaining our critical infrastructure every day. In order to track some of the initiatives and programs that we have, we've developed a corporate balance scorecard, and that's been in place since 2001. And it's used to track organizational indicators, and the scorecard helps us set these goals, measure and report on our performance on key areas of our organization. The indicators are reviewed and set by the board each year. This past year, we'd like to note that we achieved 18 of our 33 targets, and on the key indicators scored 7 out of 12. One of the things that we are trying to focus more and more on and get back to is building trust, transparency, and value. As a municipally owned water utility, Halifax Water is committed to trust, transparency, and value. These principles are vital for our long-term sustainability and customer satisfaction, especially given the operational challenges that we faced over the last year. We prioritize trust by maintaining open communications about our operations and our decisions, while ensuring our customers feel informed and valued. As noted, over the past year, we faced significant challenges, including 2 incidents at our J.D. Klein water treatment plant, which led to boil water advisories and major service disruption. In response, we took full responsibility and quickly implemented measures to mitigate operational risks, including establishing an operational resiliency team to strengthen our systems and against vulnerabilities. Through our operational challenges with fluoridation, we have a clearer understanding of our customers and the medical community's expectations regarding communication and reporting of the interruptions to this process. We have already made improvements in this area and are committed to being more transparent when changes do occur with our systems. We were also reminded that our water services are impacted by climate change when Lake Major's water levels reached unusually low levels due to reduced precipitation throughout the year last year. As a result, we have begun to advance plans to modify the facility's water intake in the lake to a deeper part so that it's less vulnerable to those low water levels. When we look at compliance and asset renewal, throughout 2024-25, we fulfilled the obligations under our Halifax Regional Water Commission Act and the Public Utilities Act. We achieved 93.7% compliance with our Nova Scotia environment and climate change requirements at our wastewater treatment facilities and reached 100% compliance with our water safety plan. As we concentrate on asset renewal, system compliance, and support community growth, we are advancing the next update to the Halifax Water Integrated Resource Plan, or the IRP, which outlines the anticipated infrastructure needs for the coming 30 years. When we look at our employee engagement and initiatives over the past year, our People and Culture team prioritized enhancing the employee experience as a key part of its strategic initiatives. We restructured our service delivery framework, signed 4-year contracts with our 2 QP locals, 227 and 1431, and created a psychologically healthy, safe work plan. And these initiatives aim at the attraction and retention of our highly valued employees. As well, we continued with community engagement and support. Halifax Water is dedicated to fostering strong relationships within the community. Our engagement initiatives focused on a range of pertinent topics, including local drainage issues, stormwater management, and impacts on infrastructure from future development. We also participated in various community events and fundraising activities, such as the United Way, Special Olympics, and Water for People. And I'll note that Commissioner Purdy probably recognized one of those shots from an engagement session we had in her area. Under environmental and climate change programs, in 2024-25, we assessed the recommendations of the Climate Action Plan and considered the requirements to integrate a climate change influence into assessments of our infrastructure. Through this, we will have an understanding and addressing the effects of climate change on our source waters and our water treatment facilities. We also continued with the design and construction of the Cogswell District Energy System and the upgrade at the Aerotech Biosolids Processing Facility. When we look at our cybersecurity plan, Halifax Water operates and maintains critical infrastructure that is continually being probed and tested through external cyber threats. The Municipal Auditor General made 47 recommendations in 2023 when they did their review of our program. And Halifax Water respects the findings of the Auditor General and shares the goal in securing our critical infrastructure against threats. In 2025, the Municipal Auditor General reported that Halifax Water has completed 38% of its recommendations, and while the rest are well in progress. Addressing cybersecurity in an operational technology environment is complex and must be managed very carefully. Halifax Water remains committed to the security of its infrastructure and confident that in a path forward which includes realistic timelines for delivery of a good program. When we look at some of the capital investments that are ongoing and that we achieved through 2024, we have a multitude of projects that we were delivering on our own, and then we also have a suite of integrated projects that we coordinated delivery with HRM. So when we look at the scope and the breadth of some of those projects, it could be anywhere from replacement of pipe in the street, replacing and repairing reservoirs, or looking at expanding larger facilities throughout our system. Another exciting project that we have underway is our Burnside Operation Depot. We obtained approval to construct our new operational depot that will see the consolidation of 4 existing depots in the east and central regions. The existing depots that are in those four locations are at end of life or in much need of expansion. This centralized depot will allow us to continue to promote our One Water theme and provide operational efficiencies in the delivery of water, wastewater, and stormwater service to our customers. It'll be structured similar to this current building that you're in. This services the West region. And it will remain in place and operational, as well. Our administration building across the street is also going to remain in place and operational. Construction started on the new Burnside Depot in April, and we hope to be moved in 2 years, April 2027. Some key statistics that we want to reflect on this past year. From an employer perspective, we had a 9.3% turnover of employees, and it's reflecting, I think, the things that are faced by a number of employers in today's current industry and a very competitive market. Also, we completed our employee survey, and we had 65% engagement of our employees, and achieving a 71 score over the employee engagement process. As I noted, from a wastewater compliance perspective, we had 93.7% compliance of our wastewater systems, and again, 100% compliance in our water safety plan. When we look at the level of testing that is done in support of those scores that I mentioned, there are well over 150,000 tests conducted on our water from source to tap each year. And I also want to highlight that customer care. Our customer care center experienced 11.5% increase in call volume in 24-25, and we did see significant spikes in December and January that were predominantly driven by the fluoridation issue and the boil water advisory. As we start to look ahead, we've approved our 5-year business plan. We have a new annual business plan that's been approved. We are in the process of finalizing our general rate application with the utility board. We've established employee councils to promote employee engagement. As I noted, we'll be working through our integrated resource plan. We'll be exciting to start to develop the framework for the next 30 years of infrastructure. And we'll be launching some significant projects with our water supply enhancement program, which will see upgrades at our 2 main water supply plants at JDK and Lake Major, as well as a major upgrade at our Mill Cove wastewater treatment facility. So just want to highlight again that this past year we updated our 5-year business plan for Halifax Water with a look ahead to 2030. We will be focusing on empowering our people and transforming our services so we can continue to deliver for our customers and the municipality a high level of water service and wastewater and stormwater service. I'm proud to say this plan was approved by our board and endorsed by council and will help guide our journey over the next 5 years. Coming out of that, we were able to develop our 25-26 annual business plan, and it will focus on starting to build the framework to build the foundation for the delivery of the 5-year plan. The objectives and strategic initiatives outlined in our Halifax 2030 plan will help drive our annual business goals and empower and transform the organization and our people. This is an exciting time for Halifax Water. And yes, we have our challenges, but we remain committed to value our customers, being open and transparent about our decisions, and maintaining public trust. So in conclusion, I want to thank our dedicated employees for their ongoing commitment to serving our customers and the municipality. Together, we look forward to overcoming the challenges and achieving success in the years to come. We remain committed to enhancing our service, our partnership with community, and our customers. Thank you. I'm going to turn the floor over to Louis to do a review of the financial status.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Kenda. Thank you, John. My name is Louis de Montbern. I'm the Director of Corporate Services and the CFO here at Halifax Water. I have just a couple of slides to talk about the highlights of the last year. As a key starting point, we are in the final stages of getting our audited financial statements completed. The auditors have a little bit of additional work to do, and we expect to get a final report from them in the middle of next week. We prepare our financial statements under 2 sets of accounting rules, which I'll walk through as I go. One is under the IFRS reporting requirements, and the other is under the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board accounting handbook. So we have 2 sets of results that we prepare and we'll provide as we go through. The main part of our financial statements are done under IFRS, which is primarily used by the municipality as part of their consolidated financial statements. And we have information about in the schedules to the financial statements related to the Utility and Review Board handbook. So the next slide is related to our assets. We have approximately $1.6 billion in assets. Some of the key highlights, we have a very healthy cash position at the end of the year with approximately $73 million in cash. We continue to add new assets into our infrastructure. We added approximately $123 million in new assets. And in terms of our total utility plant and service represents approximately $1.4 billion. Go to the next slide, please. So on the liability side, a couple of key highlights. We have our trade receivables, which have gone up by about $12 million that are primarily related to the capital spend I just mentioned. We continue to issue new long-term debt. In last year, we issued approximately $80 million of new debt. And again, we have approximately $1.6 billion in liabilities and equity. Go to the next slide, please. So this is the operating results under the IFRS reporting. We had a surplus at the end of the year of $3.2 million. We had revenue growth primarily related to increases in consumption. Our expenditures continued to increase, primarily related to increases related to salaries. Kenda mentioned our union negotiations and our settlements, which contributed to that increase, as well as additions of new employees. And the other significant increase that we've encountered is increases in depreciation costs. So as we add new assets, we continue to see the increases in our depreciation. So as I mentioned, we have 2 different sets of reporting standards. These are the key differences between the 2. So we start off with our IFRS results, which I just mentioned, at $3.2 million. we end up with various pluses and minuses related to the different accounting measures, and we end up with a handbook accounting loss of $15.6 million. Go to the next slide, please. So these are the operating results under the Regulatory Appeals Board handbook results. So the revenue is the same. Some of the pluses and minuses I just mentioned affect our operating expenditures and primarily our depreciation. We end up with the operating loss I just mentioned of $15.6 million, which is approximately $3.1 million less than was budgeted for the fiscal year. So these are the results by the three key services we have: water, wastewater, and stormwater. So we had a deficit on the water side of $9.6 million, which was approximately $400,000 more than was budgeted. Wastewater, we had a deficit of $3.3 million, which was about $3.7 million better than we had budgeted. And stormwater, a deficit of $2.7 million, about $230,000 higher than we had budgeted. We also have different accounting that we do for the regulatory parts of our business. So these regulatory activities are governed by our rules and regulations and the Nova Scotia Utility Review Board, the Nova Scotia Regulatory Appeals Board. So we had an actual deficit on regulated activities of $16.4 million. And then we have unregulated activities, which are services that we provide that primarily generate a profit for us, which represented a surplus of $750,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louis. So now that concludes the formal part of the meeting, and we will open the floor to any questions. There's a microphone. We just ask that you raise your hand, and as we said, we're looking at trying to give everybody an opportunity to speak. So.
Wondering what the product name that is used to fluoridate the water. What's the name of the product?
I believe it's hypochlorous acid. There.
What kind of product is that?
Wendy, if you don't know the details, but if you want to.
My knowledge is it's a byproduct of industry.
Byproduct of what kind of industry?
We'd have to look into that. Yep.
So my next question was, where is it purchased? Where do you purchase the product from?
Not sure exactly where that chemical is shipped from, but we can get some of this information too and follow back up with you if you wanted to leave contact information.
Okay. Did you have a question?
I have a lot of questions. Would it be better if I emailed somebody?
Yeah, so certainly we can do that. We can field any questions through email and that type of thing. Yeah.
Like 10.
Okay. Yeah.
I've probably asked. I've already emailed a number of these questions, which will probably run along the same line. And I was told just to look at the website. Well, the information that I'm asking for is not on the website, and so I think it's probably not advisable to just do it by email.
Well, yeah, so we can follow up with that, and if you've not received a response, and if there's still some outstanding gaps between what's on the website, normally we ask customers to look at the website first and see if the questions are there or the answers to their questions are there, and then we can follow up after that.
Well, they're not, I can tell you, because you've mentioned a number of times open and transparent, but there's nothing open and transparent on the Halifax website when it comes to what is put into our water. So there's chlorine, there's fluoride. I don't know. I asked what other things are put into the water. I did read there's alum on one I was able to find through. So people don't understand what exactly is going into their water, and I think if people really knew what was going into their water, they'd be quite upset. So, and you even talk about environmental aspects of this. Well, what goes into the water comes out in the water system somewhere. So that is a pollutant to the water system. So we're now fluoridating species in the ocean, where alum is going there, chlorine. So, when you say you've met all these environmental measures, I'd really like to know what exactly you're testing for coming in to the system, and how often do you test throughout the system for all these tests, and then do you test what goes out at the other end?
We do.
So that's not transparent on the website at all. None of it is.
I can take a stab at trying to answer some of that. So we have operating permits for our water supply systems, and we are testing the water that is being taken into the facilities to understand the chemistry and the biology of the water. And then depending on the source and what is going on at that and what the treatment plant, we have different treatment plants with different processes. And each one will treat the water slightly different, but at the end of the process, what is discharged in the system is meeting Health Canada guidelines and our guidelines that are set for us by Nova Scotia Environment, and ensuring that the proper levels and parameters are met for safe drinking water. And then throughout the system, we're testing for residual chlorine to make sure that the appropriate levels are in the system to address any concerns that may arise from potential bacteria or anything like that might be that might come in contact with the water before it gets through people's taps. From the wastewater perspective, we have a suite of standards that we have to achieve from a treatment level that meet both Environment Canada standards and also Nova Scotia Environment standards. And so we have sampling programs that are in place, and those are dictated, again, depending on the discharge location, dictated in our permits that are issued to us from the regulators.
So why wouldn't some of that information be on the website so that people can see, what contaminants are found as the water's coming in, exactly what's used to treat, what's found going on? Why is that not easily available?
We do have some information about the different treatment plants and what the standards are and what level of treatment that are there. I don't think we have the exact
Summary within the annual report.
Right.
That has an average of the parameters both in the source water and in treated water.
Yeah, but if people want detail, right, it should be readily available.
Right? Did you get a copy of the annual report when you came in? I think it's on page 68. There's information there, and that's we have all of our past annual reports are available on our website, and you'll be able to see trends and everything.
Right. And I'd like to get back to the fluoride. That's a big issue. And it's supposed to be community-driven, whether fluoride is added to the water or not, and it's governed by the Department of Environment. So I've never, ever received anything to ask, what do you think about having fluoride in your water? No, there's been no community event to discuss this. So I think that's a grievous error. It's not transparent by any means. And if people really knew what fluoride is, they would not want it.
Right. So we've engaged with representatives from the Medical Office of Health, as well as Dalhousie Dental School and the dental professionals. And we continue with the engagement. And so
that's not community. That's a vested interest. Right, so I personally had an issue with fluoride years ago when one of my daughters was young. So this is going back to the 1980s, and discovered going to the dentist that she was sensitive to fluoride and chlorine. So I had to buy bottled water for my family, and I had to have it in glass bottles, not plastic bottles. So I'm one person. How many thousands others are there out there that are sensitive to this? And so when I research what fluoride is, it's absolutely toxic. It affects every health system in the body, right? So we could be looking at all the people that are having hip fractures and hip replacements. That's caused by fluorosis. I know at the meeting at Halifax City Council, there was a Department of
The medical officer.
The medical officer. And so they talked about cost savings for dental caries. Well, there isn't a cost savings for that. And you look at the other factors of the cost to the system through health problems, from thyroid issues, hip fractures, all kinds of other fractures. So the cost-benefit analysis does not add up by any means. So the transparency for being community-driven is not there. And it has to open wide up and let people know what's going on, because otherwise people are saying, what's the agenda behind this? Why is this being pushed? When it is a hazardous waste product being put into our water supply.
So we rely on, there's parameters set through Health Canada on acceptable limits, and those are within our operating permits that we mentioned earlier. And from looking at it from the medical side of things, we would defer those questions and concerns to the medical officer's office. We cannot render opinions or feedback on that.
But you're not supposed to defer to them. It's supposed to be community-driven. Right? It's supposed to be open, transparent, community-driven for when it comes to fluoride specifically.
Yeah. So we can certainly, as I said, we can get your email. We appreciate the feedback. We are at the time limit that we're allowing for questions, but we can certainly follow up.
Thank you.
I've narrowed my questions down.
Okay.
Just let me know if I get too loud. How may I get a digital copy of all the various safety data sheets? I noticed the really thick folders just in the lobby, and I have delicate wrists, and there's nothing to put it on. It's really hard to read something like that. Where can I get digital copies?
So it's going to be site specific. So the binder out in the lobby there is the hazard data sheets for this building alone.
Okay.
And so I guess are you asking about the different chemicals that we use at the facilities?
Yes.
and those data sheets?
Yeah.
So I don't think we have those readily available, but they'd be at each individual facility.
Okay.
And sometimes the type of chemical or the type of additive might be slightly different by facility.
Okay, so it would just be the matter of going to the facility and then asking for their MSDS sheets.
If you're looking for the water supply facilities, there's because they're a secure facility, they're not able to go and knock on the door, so to speak. But I think if we exchange emails, we can try and see if we can find some information for you.
That would be lovely. Thank you. And my only other question is, what are the MAG recommendations that have been completed? Is there like a list of those or a report?
Yeah, so on the Municipal Auditor General has their own website.
Okay.
And there is, I think, the original report and then the update report are available for that.
Okay, showing which recommendations were completed.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So no other questions. So I'm going to turn the floor back to the chair, John, to give us closing remarks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kenda. I noticed that Commissioner O'Toole, has just arrived from the Halifax Regional Municipality meetings. I'd like to welcome her. This concludes the Halifax Water Annual General Meeting for 2025. As you've heard, and probably heard generally in the media in the context of the general rate application, fiscal 24-25 was a challenging year for Halifax Water. And while we expect the year ahead to be no different, the board and executive team are focused on ensuring a high level of service to our customers have come to expect. And that is in with the context of two things, which for a period of time I've been involved with Halifax Water, there's always been aging infrastructure, and it has to be replaced. And there's no free lunch. You have to replace the infrastructure. That has been compounded and coupled with an amazing level of growth for HRM, which I guess depends on your perspective, is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a fact. And so that doubles the kind of pressures that the Halifax Water Commission has been under. And those challenges, I would say, from my biased perspective, have largely been met, and that would not be possible without the hard work of any number of people. And that includes the Halifax Water staff. And if you go back to the corporate balance scorecard and you look at the level of achievement of our staff in reaching the required benchmarks, it's really quite amazing given the number of challenges that they've had this year. In addition to that, on a personal note, I understand senior staff are functioning on a few hours sleep the past week as they answered about 1,000 IRs within the context of the general rate application, and I think they deserve credit for having gotten through that. I'd also like to thank my fellow commissioners on the Halifax Water Board of Commissioners. They, in my experience with them, are tremendously dedicated and, more importantly, highly engaged in what are very complex issues facing the utility, just one or two of which were brought up by the participants in this meeting, and I thank you for your engagement in bringing those questions forward. Also especially want to thank Kenda and the executive team for their ongoing commitment to the utility and its customers during a period of transition and change. So thank you for attending the annual general meeting. Thank you for your participation, and thank you to the Halifax Water staff at the back who've made this meeting possible both here and virtually. Thanks again.